Well, since our last interview, you and Sammy the Bull had a sit down on Valuetainment.
Yes.
I actually watched all 10 episodes.
Did you?
Yep, I went through everything, mostly focusing on your parts. But it got interesting. I mean, number one, why did you decide to actually do this? Because up until this point, when have you actually been face-to-face with Sammy the Bull?
Really never. I mean, I had one encounter with him. I'm not going to get into that because he remembers it differently and there's no sense in going over it. But I didn't know him on the street. We didn't do business together. We didn't have any relationship like that. I knew John better. Well, I didn't know Sammy, so I knew Gotti. But whenever I was in Gotti's presence over whatever the issue was, Sammy was not present. So, Patrick got in touch with us and he kind of romanced us to put this thing together. And that's how it happened.
Okay. Right. And it's not actually on YouTube. You actually have to purchase it. It's like $40.
Correct.
Which I did. So you guys got some of my money.
All right.
So you guys agreed to do it. It seemed like there were 2 armed guards in the room. Were you guys like frisked for weapons and the such ahead of time, or?
Yeah, they wanted to make sure. I mean, Patrick wanted to keep control. He didn't want it to get out of hand. I think, listen, I'm normally a pretty calm guy. I didn't say much, but Sammy might have, made some statements. And again, I don't know, that said, Patrick better have some security there. I mean, that's what it was like.
Well, at one point, an argument actually did happen between the two of you. What exactly led up? And it was really mostly Sammy. Sammy was the one that started to get more loud and so forth. You weren't backing down, but it seemed like he was more the aggressor in the situation. Just that seemed like more of his personality anyways.
Correct.
So what led up to the actual argument?
It was, Sammy trying to say that I cooperated. And I did cooperate. I did speak to the feds, but I didn't put anybody in jail. And for some reason, not only Sammy, but guys on the street who have cooperated, and this is public knowledge, like to make sure that people know that I cooperated in that regard. And I said, listen, I spoke to the feds. I had a plan, but I didn't put anybody in jail. To me, that's the bottom line. Don't put anybody in prison. Nobody ever went to prison as a result of anything I said. And that's what I've said all along. But, people take issue with it. Sammy took issue with it at that time, and he was... he got a little riled up about it, which, listen, if that's his feeling, that's his feeling, And if you notice, I didn't really come back at him with respect to what he might have done because I didn't see any value in that, But listen, I'm used to that, Vlad. A lot of people take shots at me, on the online. I mean, that's the nature of social media. You can take shots at people, and if you respond to it, all it does is elongate this thing, So I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, at one point when you guys were arguing, Sammy said, "Don't point your finger at me. I'll break your fucking face. I'll fucking eat you alive."
Yes. And I got up and said, "Hey, you're not the underboss anymore."
What does that mean?
Well, he was acting like he was the underboss at that point in time,
And he was an underboss at one point.
Yeah, but he wasn't at that meeting, I mean, right. And nor was I a capo regime at that point. So, listen, Sammy is, he's an emotional type of guy. And I want to make this clear. He and I become good friends. I happen to like Sammy now, and I think he likes me. We may do some other things together. Vlad, whatever happened way back when, Sammy did what he did for his reasons. I did what I did for my reasons, but it's in the past, And we have talked about it. We say, look, we're both, Cosa Nostra, Sammy. And because we're out of it, we still have a mentality in a way that you and I shouldn't be at odds. And he said the same thing. And so we patched it up. Look, the guy's trying to change his life around. He's done a job, but, he's had some health issues, but he's done a great job. His family loves him. I always measure that, His son Gerard's a great kid. I met Karen once, and I saw her on that ABC special, and I really felt for her, the way she talked about growing up with her dad. So he's got a good family, and he's trying to do the right thing. He's 75 years old, So he and I, we've patched things up, and we're friends.